I'm the girl from the ring. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. How we doing? I don't know if you guys just heard that or not. Something, some scary commotion happening in the house. Welcome in one and all. How are we doing? It's time to talk a little Final Destination. Maybe even talk about some other crazy horror flicks as well. I don't know what we're going to get into tonight, but it's going to be fun. It is certainly going to be a good time. So welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. If you're subscribed to the channel, that's pretty cool. If you're not, it's kind of lame. It's kind of square behavior. So it would be kind of sick if you hit that little button, hit that little red button for me. Go ahead if you're watching this on replay, or if you're watching this live too. That's pretty sick. But anyways, let's get to it. Now that we got people rolling in, we got Paula Fitzhenry saying hi, Jake, love you. Hello, Paula. I love you too. Thanks for being here. Samantha Robinson saying hi, Jake. Can't wait for this movie. I'm excited for this movie too. I'm over the moon. Final Destination is probably the movie I'm the most excited for. That's coming up real soon here. I know that we have the Shrouds from David Cronenberg. I was gonna say David Schronenberg because Shrouds kind of sounds like that. No, but I'm very excited for this one too. We still have some more April releases. We have Until Dawn coming out in 2 weeks. That Shrouds movie I'm excited for. What was the other? Oh, there was another one. I forgot it. Oh no, I still haven't seen the Finn Wolfhard movie. Fun fact. Still have not seen Finn Wolfhard's directorial debut. Got to see what that one's all about. But Samantha, I am excited for Final Destination. Some good stuff coming up. If you have any crazy theories, please throw them my way. I want to hear them. I want to hear all of them. Pretty Kitty is saying, what's up, bud? You're awesome. Let's get Safety Gate crazy. What? I like getting crazy, though. Is that from Daddy Daycare? Oh, man, I haven't thought about that movie since I was just a little girl. Oh, my God, it's been a minute. Let's definitely get Safety Gate crazy, though. I love it. Who else is with us? RJ is saying, Jake, did you hear about this nonsense about the real release of begging from Critical Overlord just now? I don't know what you're talking about. Is Critical Overlord begging? I don't know. I like Critical Overlord. He's a cool fella. Billy Boy is saying, what's up, Jake? How it do, boo? Oh, this boo is chilling out. I'm a spooky boo, though, let me tell you. You know, it might be April, but God, it is October 24/7 around these parts, and that's what keeps me invested. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep the spooky content coming, Billy Boy. Thanks for being here. Erica, one of our beloved mods, is hanging out. Hey. What's up, Erica? Thank you for being here. All the way from Greece is where she lives. That's not true. That's not true at all. But Erica, thank you for being here. Our Greek friend. Silly Loser is saying, hey, Jake, with 2 hearts. Hello, Silly Loser. You're not a loser in my heart. And there's my heart right there. It's right there for you. Sorry, I only have one for you. What's the release date? I forgot for like the 50th time, asks Loeb. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's May 16th, which is 5 weeks, right? Is that 5 weeks from today? Because it is the 11th. It's Friday, by the way. My favorite day of the week. So yes, May 16th, just a couple, not too far away. You know, we're getting there. We're making it happen. It's coming. we're making it happen. I cannot wait for this one though, and I really hope it starts a little renaissance for Final Destination. We kick off some more movies. This is a franchise I feel like that can go on forever. It's got a really good, fun style that we can just keep going through multiple times. Let's keep it going. Let's see what happens. VKD Villain Killin' Dylan is saying Piglet has his own horror film on Tubi now. I bet it's the best film of 2025. Not to be so, not to judge a book by its cover or anything, but that might be the best one. Silly Losers also saying love your vids. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Rick, a beloved member, everyone's beloved here, saying, can't wait to see this when it comes out. In the meantime, I'm going to watch the rest. Oh, you're going to watch the rest. Get a fresh take on them. Hell yeah, dog. I'm putting out a review video for the first movie next week. I'm going to try to review all 5 movies for the rest of the month. I honest to God, I think there's only going to be... That's 5. I think there's only going to be 6 more videos the rest of this month because I don't give a shit. I want to have a video talking about the rest of the Final Destination books come out early next week. And then I'm going to review all 5 movies that exist so far. And then I'm taking a little break. First like week and a half of May, I'm taking a break. But then once the week of this movie, I'm coming back. So it's going to be fun. But yes, we have some review videos on the way. I hope you guys dig them. They're going to be cool. Grumpy Gorehound is trying this YouTube thing again. Okay. Good luck. Good luck, Grumpy Gorehound. I hope you it's tough. I'm not going to lie. It's testing me even lately. So you got to just keep trying with it and just hope. You got to just hope for the best and keep trying to make better decisions than what you did last time. That's what I always tell myself. I'm like, if I can just keep improving, if I see an uptick in everything in the ultimate graph of life, then I feel like I'm doing something. That's what matters at the end of the day. Our Life in Horror, happy Friday to you. Same to you, Jordan Curley, who's saying, hey, Jake, I have been ill this week, so I'm hoping to be better by Wednesday. I hope you're better by Tuesday, my friend. I hope you're even less ill by the start of the week. That would make me very happy. Rest up this weekend, Jordan. Get some rest, and then I hope you feel better. Take a lot of vitamin C, like an ungodly amount of vitamin C, and nutrients. Samantha Robinson is saying, dealing with some stomach issues. Everyone's sick. What's going on? You got to pause the channel? That's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm so sorry. Why is everyone sick? It's not good. Vitamin C. Take vitamins. Make it happen. Did you recover from your rough night of Dead by Daylight? Yes, I sure did. It was, it's been I'm not sick, thank God, but I have had a pretty rough week. So it's, here we are having fun though, talking about horror. That's what matters. Reese's are deadly in the Final Destination universe, says Shadow Breed. Yeah, apparently someone's going down because of a Reese's cup in this new one, which is going to be fun. Well, technically not. Technically, it's not the Reese's that kills them. It's technically everything else. But there is a character who is allergic to nuts, big ol' nuts, and they might be going out on a Reese's peanut butter cup. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up playing out there. I think we kind of already know if you've seen one of my videos, but I don't want to spoil it either because some people have complained, saying like, well, Jake, that's kind of a spoiler. We didn't want to know that before the film. It's just a description of what happens, so I don't feel like it's like we don't actually, there's no clip out there of the footage. We've just had a description of how at least two of our characters go in this new movie. I don't think it's that big of a deal, personally. But if you want to learn more about that, check out my most recent Final Destination video. Isaac is with us too with a sick Coraline profile picture. What's up, Isaac? Saying, yo, Jake, been hearing that we'll be getting another Final Destination trailer this week. Rumor. That would be awesome. Jenna Ortega and Sadie Sink have signed on to a new Radio Silence movie titled Decapitated. Oh, shit. I must have missed that. I was editing something like all day, so I missed a lot of updates. Apparently, there's a new Matrix film in the world. Like, there's so many new movies that got announced for franchises. Wait, can I go on a rant real quick about this? We don't need another Matrix film. The original The Matrix, my all-time favorite movie. It is the best one out of all the films I've seen. I love it. It's so great. It's so me. I love it. I love it to death. The sequels are atrocious. I am so pro sequel. Like, I don't, everyone's like, oh, Hollywood's dead. Hollywood's all sequels. I like that we get a lot of sequels to beloved franchises as well as original movies these days. People don't go out to see the original movies, which is the problem. But I'm not exactly blaming Hollywood for that. Well, I kind of am. That's a complicated issue. Point being, sequels to The Matrix, all three of them are ass. Unbelievable, capital A ass. And I just feel like that's a franchise that should rest. Just stop. Stop while you're ahead. I don't think you're ever going to capture the magic of the original. It's so unique. It's so special. I don't know if you're going to capture that magic again. So that's one where I'm like, dude, I don't know. But new Radio Silence movies, I'm all about it. Keep them coming. I have yet to be disappointed by a Radio Silence flick. I am very ready to see what comes from them next. I hope they still get to do that Mission Impossible. Not Mission Impossible. Said that wrong. Escape from New York. I don't know why those movies always get meshed in my brain for some reason. I must have like watched them around the same time when I was a child, and now I just think of them exactly the same way, even though they're completely different. Anyways, Mandy Jean is saying, remember the rumor that the sequel was going to be about the first responders? Oh, what a time. So Mandy Jean, to my knowledge, that was the original draft of this around like the 2020, 2021 era when this movie was first in development, and now it's been reworked into something else entirely. So maybe it could have been smoke and mirrors, probably. I would not be completely off that train, but I feel like there was probably a draft of that floating around somewhere. Some stuff got recycled from it into this new draft, but we'll see. Jake, did you see Minecraft in theaters? Best atmosphere I've ever seen. Really, I'm shocked by that. I've seen videos of people bringing chickens into the theater and throwing popcorn all over patrons. It looks like an absolute god-awful nightmare. So I'm probably going to wait for streaming on that one. I am a big supporter of original movies, but I feel like this one's making enough money. It's Minecraft it will be okay without my theater attendance, I think. I've seen enough corporate Jack Black movies to just be like, I'm done. I don't need to see another one. I'm all good on that. I hate to judge a book by its cover, but I think there's no way in hell I'm actually walking out of that theater feeling like I spent my time wisely. It looks like a piece of dog shit. But if you enjoyed it, that makes me very happy. It is just so not my cup of tea. Again, just very corporate feeling. I feel like they're just going to try to make as many references to Minecraft as humanly possible, and I just don't know how I feel about that. But anyways, Michael Parton, thank you for the $2. Really do appreciate your support. Saying, hey, Jake, I'm hoping they film Evil Dead Burn soon. I appreciate you, Michael, so much for bringing up that movie. That is the sequel I am currently the most excited for in the space of sequels and franchise continuations. Evil Dead Burn at the tippy top of my list. I am so excited. The Evil Dead franchise has got it right. They got something going on that unfortunately no other series is really doing besides Predator. I'll give Predator some props here too. Evil Dead, I love how they're just throwing new people at every single continuation. That is the way to continue a franchise these days, where people are kind of just over the original story. And Evil Dead, Sam Raimi got to tell his trilogy across 3 movies, and even then, they were all kind of inconsistent. I'm so glad. And listen, I love Bruce Campbell. I love Ash Williams. He's one of the reasons I fell in love with Evil Dead. But if they were to just keep bringing him back over and over and over again for increasingly less interesting roles, I feel like it would devalue the character big time. But the fact that we have him in these sacred 3 movies that are just so fantastic, and now the franchise has gone on without him in a way that has reinvented itself entirely, I feel like it's what makes Evil Dead my absolute favorite horror franchise, and I cannot wait to see where it goes next. So far, we have 5 spectacular movies that I love for completely different reasons across the board. And now here we are moving into 2 more, not 1, but 2 more, because the last one did so goddamn well. So Evil Dead Rise, I fucking loved it. I hope that we get more of that in Evil Dead Burn and whatever. Actually, let me rephrase that. I hope that we get more of whatever this person's unique vision of Evil Dead is. And I can't wait. I am unbelievably excited for that, Michael. Thank you for the $2. Really does mean a lot. Evil Dead Burn, bring it on, is what I say to that. Antonis Andriotis? Antonis Andriotis. If that's how you pronounce that, that is a fucking sick last name, my friend. Thank you for the 5. Thanks for supporting the page. Love your Jaws member icon, by the way. Very cool. It's almost like I designed those myself. Saying, I watched a first-time watch comedy movie last night called Problem Child. Have you seen it before? Yes, I actually, I have seen Problem Child. It's fun. It's a really fun little 90s comedy. Antonis, I've said this before, and I will say it again. I think that the 90s and the thousands were like golden age for comedy movies. I just love like comedy movies from those time periods. Like, they typically work for me. I almost always love them. I think for me, at least, I think it's because I grew up with this kind of humor, like 90s comedies especially. But as I got into my like teenage years, that's when I started watching like thousands comedies, and I just fell in love with that genre so much so. I grew up with 90s comedy and like SNL on the weekends. Like, that was always what I would watch, aside from horror movies, of course. But Problem Child, it's fun. I don't remember it too well, but that was definitely one that I watched when I was a young child. My dad would always have like movie appreciation nights. We'd always go and watch something. It would always either be like a horror film or a comedy, and that was I remember specifically one of those nights. That was one of them, and it was fun. It's very like I remember it being very like slapstick and over the top, but it's a kid. So that's kind of what makes it 90s and different. I liked it. It's a fun movie. I definitely recommend that one. I feel like it's not as talked about as other 90s comedies either. So that's definitely a good one to put on. I like that one, Antonis. You said you liked it. You thought it was funny. Very nice. I thought the kid was a pain. That's kind of the point, though, huh? I love it, Antonis. I'm really glad you liked that one. Man, I got to put that one on again. It's been a minute. It's been a real long time since I've seen that. I think the last time I watched a 90s comedy was I put on what was it? Dumb and Dumber. I love Dumb and Dumber. That is so fucking funny. Jim Carrey is magnetic, baby. Love him. And I love that he's still doing stuff, doing all these crazy Sonic movies. Of course, he's going to be back for Sonic 4. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But goddamn, I love 90s. I love 90s comedies and some 90s horror. Some. Late 90s horror, like 96 onward, bam, love it. Some great stuff from there. Early 90s horror, it's hit or miss. But hell yeah, Antonis, appreciate that a bunch. Thank you for the 5. Great movie. I recommend that one. It's been a minute since I thought about that. Kyle Gordon is saying, good evening, Jake. Yeah, I enjoyed Drop. It was really good. Why are you saying that so aggressively? You're such a cute penguin. Penguin. Words are fucking hard. Kyle, I'm so glad you like Drop. That makes me happy. It's one of the best movies of the year by that company. I agree. It's probably my favorite Blumhouse Universal horror movie so far. I've been, once again, this is nothing new, but I've been pretty disappointed by Blumhouse movies this year. I feel like Woman in the Yard and Wolfman are at the very bottom of my list in terms of rankings. But Drop, really solid. Definitely, that's like I could see that being a top 10 horror film this year, honestly. It's a really simple thriller. You know what? Here's my thing that I appreciated about it the most that won't spoil anything. It is not a movie that is trying to create a franchise. It is a perfect standalone, and it is not trying to do any more than that. I feel like whenever you do get an original horror movie that has a lot of eyes on it, it's always like, oh, we're working so hard to make a sequel here. This is not trying to do that, and it's so refreshing for that reason. Like Drop, it feels like an old school, like Wes Craven, maybe even older schooler than that. If you want to go all the way back to the Hitchcock days, it's got a little influence there too. But it feels very modern in the sense that AirDrop and phones are obviously a very big part of it. That's your Scream influence that carries through with literally every Christopher Landon property. I love The Drop, man. It's a really fun movie. If you have not seen it yet, definitely go out to the theaters this weekend. Support original horror. Listen, when I say that, I'm definitely talking a little more about the indie ones that don't get as much love. But this is still an original IP. I think we gotta turn the balance back a little bit. The Minecraft movie made too much money, and I don't. Does that movie really deserve it? I don't know. Everyone I have heard who has seen it is like, oh, it's a piece of shit, but we saw it anyways, and I'm like, man. But there were so many good movies that have come out this year, and no one's talking about those, and that makes me sad. Go see original horror, even the original Blumhouse ones. Come on now, let's make that happen. So yes, I very much so enjoyed Drop. Give that one a watch. Austin Allman is saying, did you hear that there are 3 Necronomicons now, one for each reboot, meaning it's all one world? I do like that it's all connected a little bit, Austin. That's my thing about the Evil Dead. I like that, like, it's connected in the sense that, yes, this is all in the same universe with all the same books, but it is across. It's telling different stories, different people who are running into the Necronomicon. I don't need, not every franchise has to connect and build a gigantic multiverse. I hate that every series is trying to do that. It is getting so old. It's like, oh my God, y'all, the horse has been dead for years now. We're not beating a dead horse. We're beating a skeleton into the ground with the multiverse stuff. Stop. Like, just tell simple stories right now are going to poke through so much. Just try to tell simple stories that are fresh, don't connect to anything, and don't try to set up anything else, man. I am so sick of it. It's getting exhausting. So hopefully Evil Dead sticks with that and doesn't try to build something off of Evil Dead Rise. Because I liked Rise, it was fun, but now let's move on to, let's tell a different story. What's Evil Dead Burn about? A brand new group of characters who potentially find a Necronomicon. Maybe they're on fire. Maybe that explains the subtitle. I don't know. I want something fresh yet again. That to me is that is what is so great about Evil Dead right now. Don't change that. Don't fuck that up now. Come on. Jordan is asking, will we ever see Sam and Tara ever again in Scream? I'm going to be honest, if I was Jenna Ortega or Melissa Barrera after all the drama, just from, not only from this past week, but just from the last 2 years, I would avoid this franchise with a 6-foot pole, maybe even longer than that. Dear God, people are fucking crazy. Not you guys, y'all are wonderful. But some of the other people in the Scream fandom are saying some crazy shit. Like, some of the craziest shit I think I've ever seen people say about people that they definitely don't know. I guarantee you none of these people are actually friends with Jenna Ortega or Christopher Landon. And we are saying, we're coming up with some theories that are so mind-bogglingly frustrating. I'm not making a video about it. I'm sorry. Like, it's some stupid shit has been said, and it makes me want to it kind of makes me want to tear my eyes out because of some of the shit I've read just from this past week. Some of y'all need to touch grass. There is an outside world from just the drama behind the scenes of Scream. Go outside. That's what I recommend. Dear God, these people are not your friends. They're actors. Anyways, Leo Collins is saying, what's up, Jake? What's up, Leo? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Cody, what's up, Cody? Thanks for being a member. NRU Cody. Grandma's Boy and Napoleon Dynamite, best comedy movies ever. Oh, those are fun. You know what? Napoleon Dynamite is like, that is like the indie comedy, right? Like, I feel like everyone knows this one or could reference it, even if they haven't seen it. Gosh, you know what I mean? But Grandma's Boy, I feel like, is crazy underrated. I don't think people really know about this one, and it is so fucking funny to me. The boss dude, is that who it is? Like the guy that wears the trench coat and he wants metal legs? That is so fucking funny to me. I don't know what it is about that character, but every time I put this one on, he just gets a laugh out of me every single time. But Grandma's Boy, crazy underrated if you have not seen that one. That's a must watch, in my opinion. Let's please not fetish size. Let's not fetish size people in the chat. I don't like that. Wayne's World is one of my favorite movies ever. I agree. Wayne's World is fantastic. That's probably the best SNL comedy. You know, not that it's really tough to, not that it's really tough to pick a favorite from the long list of not so great ones. But Wayne's World and probably MacGruber. I like Coneheads too. I think Coneheads doesn't get enough love. I love all those movies. They're very fun. Have you watched the movie Freaky? If so, what's your thoughts? You know, shot by shot, for the longest time, I have been praising Freaky. I have thought that it is, oh, wow, what a really fun movie. What a really fresh concept. I have some thoughts about Freaky. I want to revise my review of Freaky big time. I put it on the other day again to rewatch it because I remember loving it when I saw it in theaters. When I say that they almost ripped off like literally everything from the graphic novel, I should say, that School Spirits is based on, they ripped off like everything. It is basically an adaptation of School Spirits, like the graphic novel, not the TV show on Paramount Plus, which are kind of the same thing. But again, the graphic novel came out before both the show and the movie we're talking about. Wow. Like, dude, it's bad how much they ripped that off. So I kind of have mixed thoughts on Freaky because I'm like, that kind of feels like a ripoff now to me, which makes me sad because I used to love that movie. I love Christopher Landon. I love Michael Kennedy. But dude, it is like, it loses some major points for me now, knowing that came out shortly after that graphic novel came out. So I don't know. It's the same damn story pretty much with the touch of these creatives on it. And I'm like, I really liked that movie a lot more before I knew that. so it makes me sad. But I guess I still like it. You know, I love Catherine Newton. I think she's great. It's cool to see Celeste O'Connor, who is going to be in Scream 7 in that film, which is cool. But yeah, again, I just rewatching that film recently really ruined it for me. Not gonna lie. Makes me sad. I went down a whole rabbit hole of looking up when that graphic novel came out. I'm like, shit. Have you seen the clips of Minecraft fans throwing popcorn everywhere in theater? Yeah, if you do that shit, you're disgusting. Like, that's so fucked up, dude. You wonder why nobody wants to go to the theater anymore, and it's because of people like that. So it makes me not want to support the Minecraft movie. Not at all. Dean Renner is hanging out with us. What's up, Dean? A lot of people sporting the Jaws profile badge for members. I like it. What's up, Dean? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Ooh, Mandy's got a little Evil Dead burn theory. It's about firefighters finding the Necronomicon. That's fucking cool. Oh, I would love that. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, I'm interested. I'm very interested. I would hope I kind of hope that's what it is. I really like that idea, Mandy. Lainey is saying, sorry, I'm all over the place in the last few hours. My mom was rushed to the hospital. Oh my God, I'm terribly sorry about that. I hope everything's okay there. If you listen, I appreciate you supporting the channel, but if you got to take care of that, it is all good in the hood. I understand. Go take care of that. I'm so sorry, Lainey. So much love to you, my friend. Do you think Ash will ever be in a new Evil Dead movie? Maybe like a cameo? Maybe, but Bruce he's even said it himself. He's like, I'm old. I don't know if I can fight Deadites anymore. And that's like perfectly okay with me. I think there are so many franchises that are ruining these age-old characters by bringing them back and not doing anything really special with them. I am so fine with Ash remaining just that character from those weird 3 movies. I am so fine with that. That's perfectly fine. Again, I would rather have less things from a performer and have it be just like crystallized in horror history that way, opposed to trying to revisit it and give something more just to end up ruining it. It happens time and time again with so many beloved characters. I would hate for that to happen to Ash. So Mandy, I agree. Leave Ash alone. It is perfect how it is. And also, we have the show. Can't forget about the show with Ash. So if you want more Ash, I mean, there's 3 seasons of a television show that is also fantastic. There is nothing bad Evil Dead, in my opinion. Everything has hit one way or the other. What else is happening here? Oh, Erica's throwing out the link to the Discord, which is pretty cool. Really appreciate that. Join that if you want. But also, ladies and gentlemen, it would greatly help me out big time here. A lot of a lot of adjectives in front of that one. But she also just shared the link to my gaming channel, GullGotha. Guys, even if you don't like games, just please subscribe. We need to get to 1,000 subs over there. It would help me out immensely. And we're trying to do some more streams over there every single week. Some more videos are going up shortly. So please subscribe. Again, even if you're not a big horror game fan, you don't got to watch the videos. Just hit that little red button. It would mean the world to me if we could get that channel to 1,000 subs. So let's just do that. All you got to do is click a button real quick. It's not too crazy. So please subscribe. That would be so cool if we could get that channel up to 1,000. We're almost there. I mean, we're almost at like 700 subs. Not too far. We're like 2/3 of the way up there. Grumpy Gorehound is saying best part of Evil Dead Rise was the playback of the vinyl record. It was the only genuinely unnerving scene in the whole movie. Props to the audio FX department. That's crazy after the cheese grater scene. That was so hard to watch. That's like a top 5 hard to watch moment in that whole franchise. I don't know. That whole kitchen scene sticks in my head. What's her face's performance? So I can't think of her name. Oh, is it Alyssa something? Wow, totally forgetting. Maggot Mommy's performance, I think, in that is probably my favorite Deadite performance in the whole franchise. Wow, that is some fucked up shit. I don't know. It really bugged me. It really got under my skin. I really liked Evil Dead Rise. I'm not calling it best of the franchise. I'd probably rank it somewhere in the middle. But I did really like Evil Dead Rise a lot. It had a really unique setting, some great performances, some unbelievably hard to watch moments. Ugh, that cheese grater, again, I can't get that out of my brain. That is still up there. Isaac is saying Thanksgiving 2 or Soulmate, which sequel are you the most excited for? As of right now, probably Thanksgiving 2. Megan 2 and Soulmate really just don't, I don't know, really not giving me a whole lot of stiffness in the pants, if you know what I mean. But no, I'm kidding. But Thanksgiving 2, I guess I'm a little more excited for. I just love Eli Roth horror films. He just pushes the envelope with almost everything he's done, and I'm really excited to see where the series goes next. I feel like we're kind of on a cliffhanger with that series, too. We don't know what's going on with Sheriff Newlin, and I'd love to know if that's where he takes it next. I have a lot more questions, I guess, regarding Thanksgiving 2 and my tiny walnut-sized brain here, opposed to Soulmate, which I feel like Soulmate, it's just going to be rinse and repeat pretty much every other AI, murder robot movie that we've gotten in the last couple of years. So I don't know. Soulmate, it's going to be Megan's version of Companion. It's going to be the Megan version of Ex Machina. I don't know. Maybe it's fun. Maybe it's something really solid. We'll have to see. But Thanksgiving 2, definitely a little more excited for that one. I just saw someone talking about As Above, So Below, and I missed it. Billy Boy is saying, do you think they should do something new with As Above, So Below? You need something. I wouldn't hate a sequel, but I'm also, I don't know. A lot of horror movies to me, I think, especially found footage ones like this, are good as a standalone. I love that movie, and I would hate for a sequel to come out and just like explain way too much of the mythology. Because I think that movie is like, there's not like a whole lot left to explain, if that makes sense. It's more so just if we did a sequel, we'd have to go and find something else new about it to tell do another film. I think I don't know. I'm happy with how that one is. What could you do for a sequel to As Above, So Below? It'd have to be like a different group of characters that are going into the essentially the gates of hell, right? So like who would that be and why? I just love the situation in that original so much. It would be really tough to top that, I feel. But I guess they are making a sequel to Crawl. You guys remember Crawl from 2019? Really crazy alligator movie. They're making a sequel to that comes out soon. So that, I don't, you never know. You never know. They can make sequels to anything these days. And that actually sounds good. The Crawl sequel is about like a bunch of alligators in New York City during a flood. And everyone knows the myth about the alligators in the sewers. That sounds really interesting to me. I'm like, okay, it's not exactly connected to the events of the first one, it doesn't sound like, but it sounds like just another alligator style horror flick. But I'm into it. I'm like, okay, rock and roll. Let's see what that's all about. Maybe they can do something similar to that with an As Above, So Below continuation. Just a new group of people going into the catacombs. Who else is with us? We got Jason Carpenter. What's up, my friend? Saying, just made it in, Jake. Drinking some pansy-ass Coors Light. That's so fun. You're just ripping on that. You're like, that's all I had, I guess. Gonna rent Novocaine tonight. Did you finally see it? I'm gonna watch it as soon as it's on a streaming platform somewhere, because I do want to definitely sit down and watch that. I just did not have any time to actually go to the theater and check that one out. I do want to see it, though. It's got a lot of actors and actresses that I love. I love Jack Quaid. I love Amber Midthunder. I mean, for that alone, I got to see this one, I think. So definitely going to put that one on here soon. But no, I have not seen it yet, unfortunately. We're getting to it, though. We're certainly getting to it. And Jason's been a member for 26 months, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your support, my friend. Saying that you're looking forward to seeing Drop tomorrow, hopefully with a packed theater. Glad to see Blumhouse finally getting a win under their belt in 2025. Yeah, I mean, this is the first Blumhouse movie I've actually been like over the moon about in a very long time. So it always makes me happy to see Blumhouse win too. I know that some people are like, Blumhouse sucks. I get that, but man, when I was growing up, like the new Blumhouse movie, we would flock to the theaters to see it. I mean, it was an event whenever Blumhouse had a new movie. So to see them just fall from grace in the last like 4 or 5 years or so, it's been rough, you know? I feel like they haven't had like a mega hit in a long time outside of the box office, that is, with Five Nights at Freddy's. But my thoughts on that film are, well, what it is. But there have been some genuinely excellent, some of my favorite horror films of all time come from this studio, and I would just love to see them get back to prominence with that. Like, yeah, they're making a lot of money right now, so I mean, like, that's cool, but I just would love to see them pump out some like genuine bangers again, like how they did in the early 2010s. And also, I mean, like, dude, they produced like, Get Out, they produced Whiplash. I mean, these are some fucking excellent movies from the 2010s. And I, you know, me personally, I consider Whiplash a horror film. It's terrifying. It's about a abusive relationship, and it's presented as this coming of age story. I think it's brilliant. I love it. So I don't know, man. Blumhouse is they've been a part of some massive staples to horror history, and I really want to see them get back to that, I guess. So maybe Drop is a step in the right direction. And you know, the other thing I'll say about Blumhouse, just real quick while we're on the topic, I didn't hate Wolfman in the same way that I hated something like Imaginary or Night Swim from last year. Wolfman tried. Listen, if Blumhouse was pumping out a lot of movies that tried and failed, that's one thing. But Blumhouse has put out some movies where it's like, dude, did human beings write this? Big question mark there. What? Imaginary feels like you trained a bot to watch the Insidious franchise like over and over and over again, and then try to come up with an original IP. Wow. I mean, an embarrassing script, frankly. I don't feel like I'm alone in saying that. But Blumhouse, I want to see them I'm rooting for him. I'm always going to be rooting for him, because maybe that's just, you know, nostalgia guiding me down the wrong direction here, but I'm rooting for him, man. I want them to get back on track. Jason, thank you for being a member for 26 months. It means the world to me. Really do appreciate it that I'm able to do this crazy job because of you guys, because of the members. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lemuel235 is saying, what would you do if you were in that MRI machine kill scene? How would you escape it? You know, I'm already terrified of piercings. No judgment. Listen, if you got piercings, rock on. Do it. Poke as many holes in yourself as you want with piercings. Do it all day. It's just not for me personally. And honest to God, it's because I'm such an anxious person. That's probably why I wouldn't do it, because what if I was in the same room as an MRI machine and I get sucked in because of all my piercings. I do have a tattoo though. I have a little ghost face tattoo right here. I don't know if some people don't know this, and every time I whip it out like this, people are like, what? Jake's got a ghost face with devil horns? That's so cool. But I like it. I think it's sick. But I'm a tattoo guy all day long. And again, no judgment towards people with piercings, but I'm just terrified of having them ripped out of my face. Like this character here. I hope I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. I just realized that I probably should have stuck back with the old spoiler talk there. That is something that is publicly released though from CinemaCon that was shown at that studio, or not that presentation, I mean. But honestly, I don't feel like we haven't seen it yet though. You know, it's just been described to us via Collider, so shout out to them for that one. I can't wait. I'm really excited to learn more about this scene. What would I do in that situation? Cry and die, probably, though. That would be my final answer. Isaac is saying, yo, Jake, the new Frankenstein movie comes out the same day as Wicked. Rest in peace to the headlines. Ooh, ouch. That's not straight to streaming, is it? Not the Wicked movie, obviously, but the new Frankenstein with like Mia Goth and Del Toro directed it, right? I thought that was like a Netflix movie or something like that. Maybe, I hope I'm wrong, because that deserves a theatrical release. I don't even care. Dude, Del Toro doing Frankenstein, that's a match made in heaven. And it has a great cast. That's going to be a really good movie. But we'll see. Bradley is saying, do you think Saw 11 will come out next year or 2027? Dude, it is so tough to say where we sit right now with the Saw franchise. The studio is claiming that it is still in the works, but from literally every third-party source imaginable, including some reputable sources on top of that, i.e. Bloody Disgusting, who has I would trust with my life at this point in terms of news. They have pretty much said that the two producers who you need to make a Saw film are fighting and butting heads big time. I think it's because that there's a Blumhouse deal in the works. They want to make something happen. With all that, they want to get to some sort of arrangement to potentially sell the franchise. One person is saying that. The other is saying, no, we got to continue this storyline that's going on between Saw X to Saw 11. So it's just one of those situations where it's like, I hope to God this doesn't turn into a Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street situation where the rights are just so fucked up that we just can't make another one. That would suck balls, because this is a series that just got breathed new life into. I definitely feel like we could keep it going for a little while. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but even with or without Tobin Bell, I would love another one with Tobin Bell more than anything. But man, Saw is such a good concept. I feel like we could reinvent this series successfully at some point. Just don't call it the wordiest word salad that you can think of, Spiral from the Book of Saw. Yeah, you should have called it Saw Spiral. Just Saw Spiral. It would have made twice the box office income it had made, I think. But anyways, getting back to this. Dominic St. Clair is saying, do you think that we'll see a Jason or Freddy reference confirming they're in the same universe as Final Destination franchise and Final Destination Bloodlines? I do not think that someone is going to, the last person who dies or something, Freddy Krueger's glove is going to come up and pull them down. No, I don't know about that. To me, why I think Jason and Freddy were always meant to fight in the same movie is because they really were the two big pop culture icons of the 80s. I mean, you had, of course, Friday the 13th was a huge hit. I mean, even before it was a script or anything, we just had that title and the cool ass logo, and everyone was like, what is this? Friday the 13th? Hell yeah, dog. People were hyped about Friday the 13th even before the 80s. And then it comes out and it's okay. It's a Halloween ripoff. Let's be honest. It turned into a great franchise, though. I really do love a lot of those movies. But it's that image of the guy in the hockey mask killing somebody with a machete, and sometimes a chainsaw, which he never uses in the films, interestingly enough. But that is just so recognizable. You could make a Friday the 13th movie in another 20 years, and people will still be super hyped up and excited for it. Freddy is kind of the same situation, though. It was literally a movie that built an entire studio, New Line, and Bob Shaye became like the biggest producer ever at the time. It's crazy. But yeah, I think that these two characters were always meant to fight, you know, to throw them into, everyone's talked about, well, what about Michael fighting Jason and stuff? Well, Michael was a hit, but kind of like in his, it's the 70s, you know what I mean? It's just a different time. I feel like people, oddly enough, I feel like people differentiate these two kinds of characters just because they were popular at slightly different times, even though there is really only a couple of years between all these flicks that we're talking about. But Jason and Freddy, they just, when you talk about 80s horror, they can't be out of the conversation. It would be simply impossible, love them or hate them. So they're perfect together. Final Destination, it is so thousands, arguably 90s, right? It's arguably late 90s, even though it came out in 2000. But it still has that feel. It still has that screamy touch to it, which is undeniable. So if Final Destination is going to be in any universe, probably with Ghostface or something, I don't know. Like if we had to put them in the same universe, right? Who have I not talked to yet? The Horror Den. What is up, Horror Den? Saying obviously Spyglass will keep a hold of Scream for a while, but do you think they could work things out with Melissa like they did with Nev? You know, again, if I'm Melissa Barrera at this point, even this drama just continues to rage on, I would stay away from this franchise with a 6-foot pole. Melissa doesn't need Scream, frankly. She is still very successful getting a bunch of movie roles out here without it. So I don't know. Maybe one day Spyglass will not hold the rights or different people will be in charge of Spyglass Media. Then maybe Melissa comes back, but I just wouldn't hold your breath. I wouldn't expect it happening anytime soon, unfortunately. Trust me, that breaks my heart to say. Just as much as it probably is to hear. I loved Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera in this franchise. And, you know, maybe they're not... I see a lot of people talking shit about them saying, like, I don't really think they brought much to Scream. Well... okay, that's your opinion, that's fine, but they brought a fresh direction, and that is, I mean, listen, 5 and 6, the weakest parts is trying to connect them to the other films, but if you look at those movies as a standalone story in this long-ass universe that has tried its hardest to make more story up with Sidney Prescott, even to the point of inventing new family members for her along the way. I mean, listen, I love Scream 4, but it's a little bit of a stretch. I just feel like if any franchise needs reinvention, it is Scream. It's a hill I will die on. And I think, listen, I love Sidney Prescott. She's a great character, but it's the same way that I feel about Ash, that I feel about Sidney. I don't want to see her overstay her welcome and tarnish such a beloved final girl, if not the greatest final girl of all time. So many people hear me say that and they're like, you just hate Scream. You hate Sidney Prescott. I got a comment about it the other day and I'm like, you're just not listening to me then. Because man, I love Scream. I love Sidney Prescott and I really don't want them to ruin this character. Scream is not Sidney. It is something I will argue to the end of my days. Because if you just keep bringing this character back over and over and over again in a franchise that is so malleable, that can keep going on forever with just a new Ghostface running around a brand new town, you're going to ruin it eventually. And hopefully eventually is not February of next year. But we'll see. We'll see. I want to see new characters get attacked by Ghostface. Keep the legacy preserved. Don't fuck it up. Please don't fuck it up. Jake, death by wood chipper thoughts. I love a wood chipper kill. You know, they oddly feel really special when they do happen in movies, don't they? Like, I feel like we don't always see the wood chipper all the time. But when it does show up in horror films and sometimes even like dramas, like I mean Fargo, for instance, right? When it pops up in movies in general, I feel like it's always just a little special. What are some wood chipper deaths that I can think of? Tucker and Dale versus Evil has a really good one. Technically, Final Destination has one. We haven't seen it on screen technically, but I love a good wood chipper. Evil Dead Rise has got the amalgamation monster at the end. Go into that thing. That's the best part of the movie. I was already enjoying Evil Dead Rise, but when we got to that third act, baby, and that everyone just morphs into one big creature, I'm like, okay, all right. Listen, you already struck oil, but holy fuck. Now we get a little bonus at the end here. We got a big monster. Oh man, what a film. What a film. I love that. Fucking disgusting. What else is going on? The Friday the 13th rights situation is a complete train wreck. Two 80-year-old guys can't split a box of wine, hash out their differences, and bury the hatchet. It really is a shame, Jason. We'd probably have multiple Jason movies right now, if it wasn't for for that. I was just reading that David Bruckner was supposed to do a Friday the 13th film in the mid 2010s. Holy shit. Dude, I just watched his Hellraiser again the other night, like the 2022 one. He would have done such an excellent job with Friday the 13th. Oh my God. So cool. I really want to, I really want a new Friday the 13th. David Bruckner would be a great choice. I know Damien Leone has thrown his hat into the ring. That might be an even better choice. I want a new Friday, man. I want it so bad. That would be so fun right now. And it's a franchise that, and again, I know some may disagree with this, and that's totally fine, but Friday the 13th has always been pissed on by the MPAA, and I want to see Friday the 13th come back this decade and be able to just put out the goriest, most over-the-top, crazy killing spree style of movie with no restrictions, you know? I want to see Jason have his bloodiest go around yet, and that's still such a big possibility for this franchise, even though there's 12 movies. It's insane to say, but it's such a possibility with what Terrifier 3 has done to open up multiple cinemas across the country, across the globe, even to more like X-rated, unrated films like that. So there is no better time for Friday the 13th to have a renaissance than right now. I want it so bad. And it's crazy. There's not too many franchises 12 movies deep that you can really reinvent everything, but this is one of those franchises, man. They really don't have too many gory kills, which is such a shame because they've been cut down so much. I mean, again, it's not to discredit the people who have worked on these films. This is entirely the MPAA's fault, which sucks because there was gory kills in a lot of these movies, but they were just cut down and it sucks balls. But maybe one day, we'll bring it back and we'll have just some Damien Leone style kills in there. Nothing. And I mean nothing would get me more excited in today's horror space than some sort of announcement along those lines. Sydney will always be the greatest final human ever. I like that. Yeah, listen, again, just because her story's over to me does not mean that Sidney Prescott, I'm not going to hate seeing Sidney Prescott back on screen. It's why I'm tolerating it for Scream 7. I love Sydney. She's a great character, but I am telling you right now, I would bet everything on this. Scream 7 is going to be another Scream 5 where we're passing the torch down. We're going to mostly focus on the daughter, and everybody's going to be like, well, that's not the movie that I thought it was going to be. Mark, someone screen record that, put it online. I'd bet money on it. I'd bet money on it that this is a film that focuses on the daughter again. It's a Scream 5 all over again, and a lot of people I think are going to be disappointed. I don't think the franchise needs that. You know what I mean? I just feel like we're jangling keys in front of the fans saying, "Oh, you want Sydney? Come to the theaters. I'll give you a little bit of Sydney." It's like, man, there's just no more story to tell, you know? She's a mom now, right? I mean, that tells me she's not going to be a lead in this movie. She's going to be focusing on passing the torch to her daughter this time, opposed to Billy's daughter. It's getting a little redundant. Give me something else from this franchise. Come on now. We're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I want something fresh from a series that is so fresh and has so many ways to reinvent itself. You screen recorded my comment? Good. That's how confident I am in this. It's going to be a Scream 4, a Scream 5 all over again. I promise. I promise you that. Anyways, Movie Blaze 1 is saying, hey, Jake, how are you? And are you planning to watch Sinners next weekend? Yes, I am so excited for Sinners. Dude, okay, I had some people, message me saying, hey, Ryan Coogler's doing a horror film. That's cool. Okay. I love, Ryan's great, man. Rock on. Let's see what this is all about. And then I saw the trailer. They're playing this trailer a lot before a bunch of different movies that I've been seeing. And I'm like, dude, that's a really strong ass trailer. I don't know. I'm really excited for this movie. Kind of crept up on me a little bit. And this is another thing I said at the beginning of the year that I feel like is about to come true here. Maybe I should hold off on saying this one. I'm not as confident on as the Scream thing, but maybe this could be true in a week here. Sinners might be that secret surprise movie. Every year there's some sort of surprise indie cult movie that sneaks up on me out of nowhere. I go and see it, and it's like the best horror movie of the year. It was The Substance last year. It was Barbarian in 2022. I don't know if I want to rope Talk to Me into that for 2023, but Talk to Me was really good. I kind of knew that was going to be good, though. It's Raka Raka, baby. I've been a fan of them since I was just a wee little lad. Sinners, though, I have a lot of faith in this one. It looks very fresh, very fun, very stylistic. I can't. Honestly, I can't wait for it. It's really shot up my list. It was one that I wasn't even really thinking about. And then I just keep seeing that trailer, and I'm like, there's something here, man. There's something really special to this one. I can tell. So I'm really excited for Sinners. Looks like a lot of fun. It's got like an Evil Dead period piece feel to it. I don't know. It's just got so many different things that I'm really digging that I can already see in the trailer that I know are going to be good. Some great performances I can tell too. There's like a musical element to it, which is great. I don't know. It just looks like it's got so much weird ideas going on all at the same time. Feels right up my alley. I'm very excited for that one. And Movie Blaze, I know you emailed me about doing a podcast. I just remembered that. If you still want to do that, let me know. I might not have checked my email today, so maybe you did message me about it. But let me know. Let me know if you still want to do that. Let's rock and roll. Let's talk a little horror. Dominic St. Clair is saying Vincent DeSanti would be a good choice for a new Friday film. I think he would too. Honest to God, I loved those Womp Stomp movies, man. Those were so much fun. You'll see my name in the credits of the last two, I believe. I support his work. He does some really good stuff there. I would love for him to here's what would be crazy to me. Like, this is a match made in heaven, in my opinion. Vincent DeSanti writes it. Damian Leone directs it. If that was the case, I'd be like over the moon. I think that would make like the best Friday the 13th film ever. if something like that could happen. I had the pleasure of being able to speak with Vincent before we worked on our own fan film, Red Right Hand. We reached out to him because, I mean, in my opinion, he makes some of the best fan films out there. And we spoke with him about like his thoughts on approaching Friday, and he gave us so much good advice. But the other thing I really got from that conversation is he has such a firm understanding of what people want from Friday. And you see that in the films, but just talking to the guy, you can get that. So Vincent, I think, would be he would be a really good choice. He just understands what people want from that franchise really well. And it's not as clean cut or simple as people may say. You know, so I really think that he's onto something with his two movies. I really liked. I think they just kept getting better too. I really think as they went along, he just had a better grip on what he wanted to do. But it's awesome. I don't know. I love Womp Stomp. I can't wait to see what they do next. They're doing that like Batman movie, right? Isn't that what I did? Did I hear that right? I'm really excited for that. They're great. I love this name, Beyblade Lover. What is up, Beyblade Lover? Hell yeah. All the love to the Beyblades, saying, I have a feeling that this could be a sequel to 2, but not 3, since I don't think I saw the other disasters in the book. That would be, this isn't the first time that, it wouldn't be the first time, I should say, that the franchise has dealt with, different periods of time. And you're right, we really did only see the first 2 things discussed. So could this be, a film that just has the first 2 as canon and then maybe leads into the next couple ones? Could be the case. Or I guess 5 would have to be canon there too, right? Or I guess rephrasing that, 5 has already happened, technically. It's 5, 1, 2, then in your theory here, Bloodlines would take place. I do feel like we've seen there's an iPhone. Yeah, there's definitely an iPhone in there, right? I feel like I saw that. But the one thing I will say about that theory that I really like is that I think Final Destination 5, a lot of people have talked about how much they love that twist ending. It makes 5 stick out. I mean, 5 on its own, like without that ending, it's good. It's a solid sequel. I don't think I would love it as much if it didn't have that ending though, or the time period setting. It has such a kick-ass, like kick to the nuts ending. That's what makes it stand out so much in my book and my rankings overall. I don't feel like, the other thing about 5, again, no hate. 5 is really up there in terms of my rankings right now, but the bridge disaster, I don't know. I would rank many of the other opening scenes over it, honestly, which might be a hot take. I like it. It's good, but I don't feel like it's great compared to like the first 2 films, especially. There's something about those first 2 disasters that really stick out amongst the rest. But that ending to 5, I feel like that's the kicker there. If they were to try to replicate that magic in this new one, I wouldn't be shocked. I really would not be shocked if they were trying to do some sort of twist like that, but slightly different, right? Halloween 6, says Jason Carpenter. Myers would destroy Jason, Freddy, and Art the Clown. Yeah, I said it. Hell yeah, Jason. Listen, I love it, dog. Halloween, that's really funny that you're bringing up Curse Myers, because he's barely in that flick to begin with. But But okay, you know what? Hell yeah, dog. He does have some crazy powers in that one. So we learn all about his weird mythology in that movie, if you choose for it to be canon, right? But it's such a weird movie, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It's weird and I like it. Samantha's got a Final Destination theory as well, saying, what do you think happens to the people who caused the accidents? For instance, the log truck driver in part 2. Samantha, I'm actually so glad you asked that because I do have a theory on that. There's actually a book that we're going to get into in a new video coming up. This is the next video. I'm already started working on this one. There's an entire book in the Final Destination novel series that is about the bus driver that runs over Terry during the events of the original Final Destination. And it's cool. William Bloodworth has a little appearance in there. It takes place mostly in New York City. It is so cool. But basically, the idea is that, it's all connected, right? This has been an idea across the movies, across the books as well. And it's the idea that this guy has his own premonition, and we go down this little side story that's inconsequential to the films, but let's say it happens in the universe, right? I think that's so cool. The idea that if you're involved with these deaths in some sort of way, it infects you or something, that kind of goes against a lot of the stuff that we have talked about recently in terms of, the mythology of this world. But I think it's fun. That to me is so fucked up. That means it could still happen to anybody, right? It just keeps infecting people and going into different lives and situations. You can keep this franchise going forever doing something like that. That's fascinating to me. I would love to see them do something like that with Final Destination. Maybe it's not just the bloodline that's affected by all of this, but it's also there's a little more to it. It's literally anybody who cheats death will have death coming after them. Will be on a list somewhere coming down the line. Jordan is asking, have I met anybody famous? Yeah, a few people now. I'm trying to think of some. I've honestly met a couple of people. Some big standouts though. Here, I'll tell this fun little story real quick. I went to the premiere for Stream. It is from Fuzz on the Lens Productions, who, of course, worked on the Terrifier movies. They invited me to the Stream premiere, which was awesome. And there, we had so many horror celebrities, because if you have not seen this film, it is, jam-packed with, huge horror celebrities from, 80s, 90s, even 2000s horror hits. And it was, I don't know, it was just so cool. We were walking around rubbing elbows with some of the coolest people in the industry, in my opinion. Who was there? Jeffrey Combs was there. Barbara Crampton was there. Bill Moseley was there. Santa Claus from Terrifier 3, guy's name is totally slipping me right now. So many cool people just were at this premiere, and it's I can't even believe I had the honor of being in the same room as them. I chickened out of saying hi to Barbara Crampton because I am just I'm a huge fan. I love every movie she's been in that I've seen. And oh my God, I couldn't believe I was in the same theater as her watching a movie. She is incredible. She seemed like a really fun time too, which was sick. But I met a few people at this point. I've had a few famous people on the channel before. Michael Levy from Fuzz on the Lens. I've had Doug Bradley on. That's Pinhead, of course. I just had Lauren Alina on the page today. We talked about saw traps. Check out that video if you have not seen it. She's an actress, and she's in a bunch of weird little horror movies, which is cool. So definitely check out that video if you haven't seen it. We wanted to do something Saw related, and that was a fun one. That was a really fun video. So give it a watch. TRS is saying Final Destination 7 must be set in a cheese factory. Are you making, I know you're probably not, but are you making a Freddy Got Fingered reference? Because if you are, props to you. Probably not, but maybe, you never know. Is there any update on the MRI scene that was talked about? Seiko Fox, if that's how you pronounce that name, I hope not. I think we've gotten enough on that scene. We got a picture from it, and that's good enough. That's all good. That's good for me. I'm glad we got a little shot from it. We got a little collider description of it. I feel like we're getting up to the line of that's too much. I don't want to see any more from it. Now we don't know how they handled it, probably with CGI, right? But I hope it looks good. Fingers crossed. It looks better than most of the sequels. Big place that they can improve upon, in my opinion. Scott Royson is saying that Happy Death Day 3 is confirmed. Hell yes. That's a franchise I would love to see continued. We kind of got left on a cliffhanger with that one too. Don't forget, we were built in Happy Death Day to You. Love that sequel or hate it. It was building up to something bigger there. So I'm really hoping that we get some sort of continuation that really steps it up. I'm excited to see what comes next. I can't wait. Christopher Landon is popping again, though, and I think Scream 7 made an awful mistake with the fans being so mean to him. But anyways, Antonis, thank you for the 5. Thanks for supporting the page. You're saying, when can we expect a trailer for the rest of the year's horror movies? Like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Black Phone 2, Thanksgiving 2, Him, etc. I'm glad you brought up Him. That's another one I'm excited for. Haven't been able to talk about that one yet. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Antonis, I'm going to be honest, I would not be shocked. Let me rephrase that. If it came out literally during this stream. They are releasing so much stuff from this movie. It's coming any second now. We'll get an I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer. I've honestly kind of cleared my schedule for the next 3 days. I'm working on a big video, but besides that, I'm kind of just, I feel the calm before the storm with I Know What You Did Last Summer. I feel like it's dropping any day now. Trust me, this is coming. This has to be coming soon. They always do this before a big movie trailer comes out. They release a bunch of images, and the trailer's probably been done for a month now, which is why I bet all these images that are coming out are probably from that. And we're going to get the trailer very soon here. So it might come out this weekend. Who knows? Anything can happen. We're definitely getting something for this soon. The movie comes out in late July, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're getting something for that soon. Black Phone 2, Thanksgiving 2, Him. These are fall releases, I think all 3, if I'm not mistaken. So we probably won't see anything from these movies until this summer, would be my guess. Probably June. Maybe sometime in June we'll see some marketing for those. Probably right before something like I Know What You Did Last Summer comes out, because we kind of want to release stuff to promote other movies once other films are coming out, right? Doesn't that make sense? Play the trailer for something else that people who are going to see I Know What You Did Last Summer, they might be excited for Thanksgiving too, for instance, right? So I could totally see around end of June, start of July, we put out a trailer for Thanksgiving 2. I feel like that would make a lot of sense in terms of marketing. But dude, that I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer, it's coming. Trust me. That any day now, any second now, that one's dropping. I feel that calm, it's happening. I cannot, and one more thing about this, Antonis, I cannot wait for Black Phone 2. I have been scratching my head since I got the announcement that the sequel was coming. And I'm like, what are they going to do for a sequel, man? Apparently they're swinging for the fences here a little bit, going balls to the wall, basically making a Freddy Krueger film. The Black Phone, the grabber from this film, is going all Freddy Krueger. He's coming after our kids who are now in high school. And I'm really excited to see what it's all about. It feels like it's going to be Scott Derrickson doing Nightmare on Elm Street, essentially. And I can't think of a better new project for that guy to do. I don't think I ever even really considered this, but Sinister, in a weird way, is very inspired, I think, by Nightmare on Elm Street, right? It's a ghost that has these unbelievable, unfathomable powers that are kind of just feel out of reach and untouchable. He makes these kids film killing their entire family. It's fucked up and it's so unique. I feel like in a similar way, Freddy Krueger is that to the 84 flick, right? So I feel like this is a match made in heaven in a weird sort of way. We're not getting a new Nightmare film, as we just learned recently. The rights for that is all wrapped up in a bunch of bullshit. But maybe these other franchises can pick up the pace, pick up the slack of the big heavy hitters, which I don't mind. I don't mind that at all. We got a movie last year called Mr. Crockett that I think is it's basically a new take on Freddy Krueger that is so good. I can't recommend it enough. It's so interesting. Black Phone 2 seems to be going down that same route, and I don't mind. Look, if you're going to stand on the shoulders of giants, stand on the shoulders of the giants who can't be present right now. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. We're not getting a new Nightmare movie or a new Friday film anytime soon, which sucks. So many hairy balls. But maybe these other franchises and other original horror flicks can pick up the slack a little bit. So I'll take it. I'm really excited for Black Phone 2. It has truly shot up my list in terms of excitement. So I can't wait to see what that's all about. Antonis, thank you for the 5. I didn't talk about Him, though. I'm just realizing that. Him sounds crazy. It is Marlon Wayans in a sports horror film. What does that entail? I do not know, but I'm here for it. That's what I'll say about that. There we go. Bam, we got into it. Anyways, Retrogeist, love the name, saying, I just started the final, love your suit. That sounded like Hannibal Lecter there. Jesus. You just started the Final Destination films, and I'm going to spread it apart. What are you spreading apart, my friend? Dear God, since I don't want to, Watch it all in one sitting. I want to wait for Final Destination 6. Also, Happy Death Day 3 confirmed. Yes. Hell yeah. You know, I watched the first two movies. I watched 3, and then I watched 4 and 5 for Final Destination. And I feel like that was weirdly perfect. It's honestly going to bring up a strange point that I'm going to make in some of my review videos that are coming up with the rest of the month. I feel like, here's how I feel about Final Destination so far. I feel like the first two kind of have a similar vibe. 3 kind of captures things I like about the original 2 and the last 2. And then 4 and 5 feel like their own thing too. I don't know how to explain that quite yet in great detail, but I'm working on these scripts for these review videos. And I feel like they're all different kinds of movies. There's like 3 eras so far for this franchise, and I feel like maybe 6 is going to get into something new as well. But I don't know. They all got something else going on that's a little different from the last. Like again, in those 3 little territories. But it's fun. It really is a fun series, and I can't wait to talk more about it soon here. But definitely fun movies to go through again. I had a great time with all 5 of them. Honestly, even the Final Destination, which I think is still definitely my least favorite, I still found some things in that one where I was like, oh, that was different. Okay, I enjoyed that. Thought that was cool. Erica's got to head out. Thank you for being here, Erica. Appreciate you a ton. Enjoy your Friday. Have a very fun night. Ty Lee is saying, I think Black Phone 2 will be better than the first. I can't wait for Supernatural Grabber. Ty, I'm with you. I think this has potential to be one of those sequels that's better than the original. I was a little critical of the original Black Phone. I love it. I think the back half of it is fantastic. It starts a little rocky, in my opinion. I think the sequel could pick up the pace in that department specifically. So we'll see. We'll see what it ends up getting into. But I have a lot of faith in it, where maybe I was a little skeptical going into it initially. But if I've learned anything, it's trust in Scott Derrickson, because most of the time, except for when he works with Apple TV, most of the time he hits. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what comes next. Horror Den is saying, I want a No Way Home moment if Brandy is in I Know What You Did Last Summer. They shouldn't reveal her in the trailer and catch us in the theaters instead. Seems like that's going to be the case. We had director Jennifer Caton Robinson come out recently and give a little tease saying, I guess you'll just have to see the movie to see if Brandy is in it or not, which translation, she's in the movie. Probably if I had to guess, probably something towards the end, some sort of sequel tease, right? Because I'm sure of it now that I Know What You Did Last Summer is trying to start a brand new trilogy, just like the majority of franchise continuations. So they probably have her come in and like a post-credit scene or something, being like, I still know what you did last summer. Remember, that was the movie I was in. Ooh. But I'm excited to see more Brandy Norwood in horror, man. I thought she was actually pretty fantastic in a weird little movie from last year called The Front Room. I know everybody hated that film. It's not very good, but Brandy Norwood is giving it her all. There's no denying that. I still quote that movie from time to time. There's a crazy old lady in that film. And she poops the bed a lot. It is a theme of the film, a motif, one might call it. And she is just pooping herself constantly. And she is saying these words exactly. Oh no, I made an MESS mess. And it is the funniest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. So we have to call a spade a spade. It's not a very good movie, but that line is so fucking funny. I had tears in my eyes laughing watching that film. My God, The Front Room, what one of the films of all time. Couldn't recommend watching it enough. MESS mess, baby. So funny. We got Chase from Moser Movie Reviews hanging out with us. What's up, my friend? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Scott is saying there have been rumors that Robert Englund would be willing to do another Nightmare on Elm Street film, providing it stays true to the original, where it's more scarier than comedic. I would, dude, nothing would make me happier. I would love to see a new Freddy movie, especially if he wants to come back. You know, that's, There's so many characters that I feel like are sacred that I don't want to see ruined. Freddy's one where I'm like, dude, there's already been some bad Freddy movies. Like, you can really only go up from here, I think. And I don't even need to knock on wood or anything to say that. Pretty much anything you do in the modern day is probably going to be better than Freddy's Dead, let's be honest. So if Robert wants to come back, maybe he just plays the character in like stand still moments, right? I think he could do that. He says, we've heard, comments from him saying that he wouldn't really be interested in that, right? He throws out things all the time saying, I'm too old and thick to play the character, which is a quote that is burned into my brain because it's so funny. But I think he could just come back, have the makeup on his face and his arms or something, right? And just do like close-up shots. Everything else is a stunt performer. I would be okay with that. I wouldn't be upset. It would also mean that the last time he gets into the makeup is not for the Goldbergs, which, like, yeah. Come on now. One more movie. He's got it in him. He's 70-something years young. I'd love to see that. Bradley is asking, are you excited for Smile 3? Abso-freaking-lutely. Dude, the Smile franchise has completely gripped me by the throat. I think that it's one of those franchises that is doing all the right things, moving in a great new direction. I love it. I love that they committed to the bit of we're going to do a curse that passes from person to person, and we don't give a fuck about trying to continue some sort of story. The only thing that's consistent across these movies to keep it sweet and simple is just this smile demon passing from person to person. I love that. It is simple, it's sweet, and it's effective. It's unique in the sense of style. It's an age-old concept, however, which I think is what some people have a lot of issue with those flicks. But I love that Parker Finn is creating and developing his own unique style that is so present in those first two films, but especially the sequel. So man, I'm here for a Smile 3. Make 100 of them if you have this same unique approach of just the smile demon is passing from person to person to person, different kinds of characters that are all well written. I love that. Sky Riley, I think, is one of the most interesting focal characters of a recent horror film that I've seen, genuinely. Like, she's so complex. I don't think she's a good character, but you still want to root for her. And that is, oh man, there's not enough characters like that. I think it's just so default to have your main characters be these likable people in a horror film, because that you want to root for a main character. You want them to live. You don't want to make them so unlikable to the point where they're just like, no, I want to see him die. Maybe some side characters, sure. But your main character, you want your audience rooting for him, however you do that. And Parker Finn is creating these characters who are, you still root for him, but there's this hint that maybe they're not the best people. And that is so present in Smile 2 with Sky Riley, and I fucking love it. Man, I don't know. Sky Riley's such a complex character. I love her. I think she's so interesting. And I want to see more characters like that get affected by the smile demon in universe. So I'm so ready for Smile 3. Honest to God, if there's any franchise where I'm like, this is such an unbelievable hit, we're going to be talking about this for years to come, it is Smile, baby. And after the first one, I was like, okay, that was good, really solid, but might be a flash in the pan kind of thing. The name Parker Finn, are we still going to be talking about this in a few years? After Smile 2, I can tell you he could be a master of horror one day. He has the potential to do it. I got to see more than just Smile sequels from him, though. That's my thing. Loved Smile and Smile 2, but I want to see what else he does. There's talks that he's doing a Possession remake. That's ballsy. I got to be honest. We're remaking a weird 80s film that not a lot of people have heard of, and a film that fans of the original would argue doesn't need a continuation or a remake. So that's ballsy. Okay, Parker. Okay, you have my attention. You absolutely have my attention. You're doing some crazy, ballsy, weird things, and I'm here for it. I like balls, if you couldn't tell. Scott Royston has been a member for 8 months. Thank you so much, Scott. Appreciate the support. Thanks for being a member. And another thing I want to say about Scott before we really get into this. Scott and I disagree a lot on horror films, but we have civil conversations about it, and I think that is just so valuable here in the space nowadays. I have seen people argue about some of the dumbest things relating to movies, which are just movies, just fiction. It's not a big deal. Scott and I have a mutual respect for each other, and I love that. So, Scott, thank you for being here. I greatly value your presence on these streams. I just just want you to know that. I hope you're aware of such a thing. Such a great joy to be here, Jake. Thank you, Scott. Love you all so much. I know it's been longer than 8 months, but it's all good. Looking forward to lots of great slashers in 2025. Hell yeah, Scott. Rock on, man. And you're also gifting some memberships out there to a bunch of people. Thank you. Thank you so much for that support, my friend. So much love back. I know you've been a member for longer. YouTube's just dumb like that sometimes, unfortunately. Really do appreciate you a ton, though, dude. Thank you for your support. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being a good sport about everything, too. We're always going to disagree about movies and crazy opinions here and there, but at the end of the day, it is just fiction. It's just film. It's not that big of a deal. So, Scott, thank you for always being a good sport. And always being able to talk, just talk movies openly and freely without judgment. That's great. It's a good quality to possess, I would say. Those memberships too are going to King Parham, JD636, Thomas Clark, Denise Wheat, and Mikey Francis. Welcome to the fold, everybody. Thank you for those gifted memberships, my friend. I appreciate that. And you know what? I just thought about this. I have not done any memberships this month yet, so let's do that. Let's give some. I'll do some too. I'll match you, Scott. I got you. So there we go. I haven't gifted any this month. It's crazy. It's a problem. We're 11 days balls deep into this month. We got to give some memberships here. So who's getting those? That's going to Lawrence, Loudworld97, Ghostface, Ella, and Lisa Wilson. Welcome. And to some of you, welcome back. Thank you. Anyways, let's get back to this. Legend Uzi 8BP is saying, will they finally end the death curse in Final Destination Bloodlines? Well, if they do that, there won't be any more movies. Legend Uzi 8BP. I think they're probably going to keep it going, right? I don't know if our characters are going to live or not, but I'm also thinking about just the trends in horror these days. We want to keep things going with franchises and characters that one might like or love. So, will Final Destination try its hand at that here? Honestly, I'm leaning towards I hope not, because I think it would be way more fun just to have this as a one contained story that maybe tries to wrap everything together. Whatever. That's cool. That's fun if we want to have that idea there. But then let's have all these characters die in vicious ways, because that's fun and also kind of a staple of the franchise to do so. Something I'm loving about the Final Destination Bloodlines trailer is it feels like they haven't skipped a beat since where they left off back in 2011 with the 5th entry. Nothing would make me happier if this film just said, gave a middle finger to all the norms of modern franchise continuations and did its own thing, just like how maybe we were doing things back in the 2000s or 2010s. That would be so cool, and again, very refreshing, because movies are just done very differently nowadays, right? It's just a different space than it was back in the late 2000s or early 2010s, like when we were last hanging out with this franchise. So it would be really cool, really refreshing if we did things very similar to that, I think. Just because, again, I feel like every movie is just kind of doing the same thing. It's bringing back legacy characters, and here's a fresh new crowd as well with fresh faces so that everybody can relate to these characters. And it's like, man, okay, we've done that. We've been doing it since 2018. Let's do something else. So hopefully Final Destination does do that. And just kills everybody off, and we start anew with whatever Final Destination 7 ends up being, because, dude, this movie is tracking to make some big bucks. Let me tell you, it is on fire. Oh, there's nothing in the space of horror that people are more excited for right now. So I hope that it's just back to basics, a refresher for the franchise. We get back to what this series was so good at. Let's clean house and start anew with the next one. It's a brand new premonition every single time. That's what I'm hoping for, at least, but we'll see. Anthony J is ready for some more Smile films. More Parker Finn, baby. I love it. Yeah, definitely a name in horror that I'm excited for the future of, if that makes any sense. Ella is thanking me for the membership. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here, Ella. You're saying saw lady in the yard, and she do be in that yard. She do be. Let me tell you. Listen, I'm not spoiling the movie for you, or I guess maybe I am. The woman, she sits in the yard, and then there's a little weird scene at the end, and then nothing happens. I swear to God, that is that entire film. No, I mean, it is the most eventless movie I think I've ever paid money to see. Wow. She really just do be in that yard. Like that, the title of that film sums it up perfectly. It is a woman, and she is in the yard, and there are no milkshakes, and I was so disappointed. You can't put yard in your title and not expect a milkshake. A milkshake. Come on now. Give the people what they want, damn it. Ella's saying it had so much potential. I agree. I think that we had a great director attached to this project. Some really good cast members as well. I love is it Danielle Deadweiler? Is that her name? Who starred in that one? Great actress. I also love Okwi Akpak Wasili, a name that I've just burned into my brain so that I can repeat it on streams, because then it makes me sound smart. No, it's a ridiculous name. I love it. I love it so much. She's a great performer too. And man, they give her like nothing to do in that film, which sucks balls. She has been in 2 bad horror movies from Blumhouse, which I think is such a shame, because she really is a fantastic performer. She has a lot of potential. Hopefully she gets in a movie with a good script one of these days. Would make me really happy to see that happen. We have Ghostface hanging out with us. What's up? How's it going? Or should I say, what's up? Perry Moberg saying, hey all. What's up, Perry? Thanks for being a member. Thomas Clark is also saying thanks for the membership. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here, fellas. Legend Uzi is saying, I would like it not to end, but they hinted quite a few things towards end, like book that contains everything that about death. See, my thing about, especially going back through the 5 Final Destination movies, Legend, is something I've noticed is it always seems like there's the movies do follow a formula. You know, maybe the one thing that I'm hoping they divert a little bit from, so that there's still a little mystery to it. Pretty much every Final Destination movie has a formula, and I think most of it you guys are pretty familiar with, right? There's some sort of awful thing that happens. It turns out to be a premonition. Character saves a bunch of his friends. People end up dying. And then death comes for them as the movie goes along. But something else that's part of that formula that I'm noticing in like every single Final Destination movie, and they do handle it differently every single time, so I'll give them that, is that there's always a character who feels like they have it understood at a certain point. They're like, bam, we got it. This is how we subvert death after it's been coming for us this whole time. And then they end up being wrong, and then it costs more lives, or they all die. And there is something along those lines in every single Final Destination movie, and I feel like maybe that's what they're doing in Bloodlines, is that we're going to have this book with all of the answers in it, and they're all going to be wrong. We're going to deal with everything the franchise has dealt with before, just like how we've already been talked about from that Collider article we've talked about on the page recently, where they detail that one scene. I mean, we literally have characters talking about things that happen in Final Destination 5 and 2, the idea of bringing new life, and that cancels it out, or, you know, killing other people and stealing their lifespan from Final Destination 5. I feel like we're going to try to do these things in this film, and we're going to fuck it up. It's going to be a mishmash of a bunch of things that have already been tested in the series, and those things are going to fail. It's my guess. It's my prediction as of right now, and it's still going to lead to everybody dying. But I don't know. Maybe we have some survivors here. Legend. Maybe that makes this one stand apart, because we've really only had one film that has done that so far. And again, I feel like everything's an execution. Can we do this well? Can we do this right? And still have survivors? I mean, it would be fun, but I also feel like it's almost a fun expected staple in a good way to have everybody die too in this series, because it almost always happens. Detective Diaries, I'm loving this comment, saying, I tried to create a family tree on who is related to who from the previous movies based on grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, parents, since the movie has bloodlines in the title. Real quick. So I read somewhere that Wendy and Kimberly, respectively from the third and the second film, they're cousins, apparently. I don't know if that, I rewatched the movies and I don't know where that information comes from, but it's interesting nonetheless. If that ends up being true, that's very cool. But I don't know, you know, I know they're probably going to do something like that in this movie, right? They're probably going to find a way to connect it all to that tower incident back in like the 60s, right? That's probably when that happened. I think it's interesting. So Detective Diaries, you are a detective after all. Let me know if you found anything interesting in your sleuthing around. Joey Bagby, love the name. What's up, Joey? Saying, Jake, what do you think is the worst way to die? Tanning beds, lawnmower, impaled by a ladder, or getting stuck or sucked out by a pool drain? Ooh, what's the worst one from all of those? Dude, that's actually really tough. Those are all pretty fucking bad. I feel like the ladder is probably not that bad because it's quick, right? Like it just goes through your head, you're done for. The pool drain would suck because you're not only drowning, but you're getting everything sucked out of your asshole. I mean, that's got to be bad. For me, at least, the one that I feel like the last one I would want to be involved with is probably the tanning beds, but it is close with the pool drain. Ugh, sounds awful. I feel like burning alive has got to be the worst way to go. Like literally every part of you melting and going to cinders. I mean, oh God, that sounds unimaginably bad in terms of pain. The tanning bed one, I feel like it's got to be the worst. That's the sucked out by the pool drain though. That sucks. You know what is really bad about the pool drain one though? Say what you want about that fourth film, but dude, that's an awful way to go. I mean, not only do you have people all around you while it's happening, but you can't scream. You're literally drowning, and then there's a gore element to it. Then you're having your intestines ripped out of your body from pressure. I mean, God, that's got to be bad. That's got to suck. So it's close, but I feel like the tanning bed is just a pube hair worse. But those are both pretty bad. Great question, Joey. AJ, thank you for the 5. Appreciate the support. Oh, I want to see this movie so bad. You just saw The Amateur with Rami Malek. It was meh. Oh, that sucks. Dude, AJ, I'm going to be honest. I was really excited after seeing that trailer. It looked like a lot of fun. My girlfriend wants to see it this weekend. I should ask her about that if she wants to still go and see that. Has she texted me yet? ? Sorry, you just reminded me that she's coming over soon, and she has a lot of bags that I have to help her carry in. But anyways, could you imagine Final Destination Bloodlines ends on a cliffhanger? Okay, now this would be different. This would be fun. We were talking about this earlier with Legend Uzi, talking about people living. Could we end Final Destination Bloodlines on a cliffhanger with the same characters, and we bring them back for a sequel to see if they're still alive? That could work for me. That would be interesting. Here's something I want. Here's something I really want from that. Something I'm about to bring up in a new video coming next week. There are a lot of ideas in the Final Destination franchise that are dealt with at different points in the franchise. But the first movie has a lot of ideas. Not all of them work, in my opinion, but there's one that the rest of the sequels totally leave out, and I kind of want to see it come back. And this would be a good reason for a cliffhanger, I would say, in Bloodlines. Everybody treats Devon Sawa's Alex Browning differently. And I think that is so interesting and cool. Like in the rest of the movies, whenever someone has a premonition, they just kind of get off of that topic and they're immediately like, well, this has happened before in the previous movies. You guys have heard this song and dance before. But I love in the original one how everyone has a different interpretation of what went down in Alex's brain before the plane exploded. How did he know? Everybody has a different take on it. And I think that is so interesting. I want to get back to that. I almost want to see a group of people who has no idea of the other films that happened, and they're all treating the person who had a premonition completely differently. I feel like Bloodlines is going to be a little different from what we know. We know that the premonition here is happening long, long, long before the events of this film. So this is, in a way, going to be a reinvention of the formula as we know it. But I wouldn't mind the idea of everybody thinking, a character was okay, let's give an example here. Clear Rivers basically looks up to Alex like he's God, which is kind of weird. It's like, oh my God, that's a weird reaction to that. The teacher is disgusted by him, even though at one point she's kind of defending the guy, right? I mean, she's his teacher. She's almost like what is it? Isn't the one kid picking on him at the airport? No, I remember now. The dude hands him the pamphlet or whatever for the religious stuff, and she's like, don't hand stuff to my students. She defends him at first, but then after the premonition happens, Miss Luton is all fucking weird. She's like, don't talk to me. You scare the hell out of me, and all that shit. It's like, whoa, that's a weird I want to get back to that, I guess is my point. Can we build up a character in that same sense to the point where some people there's a cult surrounding them? They're like, you can predict the future. All hail whoever this person is, that could be a weird idea explored in a new movie. That would be a good reason to have a cliffhanger if you're going to go to some weird place, swing for the fences with it in a brand new movie. I have always loved that about the original Final Destination. And it's kind of, you have a little bit of that in the other sequels, but not as much of a focus on it as that first Final Destination. So can we do that with one of the characters here? Have we already done that with Iris, the character who had a premonition back in the day? We have to explain how she survived all this time somehow. Maybe she had a cult following. People believed she was some sort of witch. I'm getting a little, this is probably put your tinfoil hat on conversation at this point, but I think it would be fun and a weird way to throw it down. Some cult behavior in Final Destination. Maybe that's getting a little too sophisticated for this franchise, but I think it would be fun. Cliffhanger in the series, rock and roll, make it happen. I like it. I think that would be cool and different. I want different. If you're going to make a new movie, make it different, make it fun. But AJ, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you a ton. Thank you for supporting the page. Ghostface is saying, for some reason, I'm kind of thinking that Breck Bassinger's character is somehow related to the train girl that died in the last shot of that movie. The train girl. Oh, in the third one you're talking about. Is that Wendy's character? Okay. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, is Breck Bassinger playing the young Iris, or is she the? I get her confused. I thought that was her. Yeah. She's like the young Iris. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hey, maybe. Everyone could be. Listen, we've been talking about how everybody's kind of weirdly related. I think that's why it's called Bloodlines. I don't know. We'll see though. We will definitely see. Perry Moberg, again, thank you for being a member, saying I might see The Drop tonight. Oh, dude, give it a watch. It's if you like Wes Craven movies, I think you'll really like this one. Again, my one thing I talked about in my review is it's absolutely a suspend your disbelief kind of movie. But if you can buy into it, it's a lot of fun. It's a really good one. Ella is saying pool drain. Talk about a rim job. That's I can't believe I missed that. That is a fantastic, fantastic comment there. That is the most terrifying rim job I think I've ever seen on film. Let me tell you. Jesus. You're also saying that the first one is so quotable. It is. I love when, who is it? Carter, when he's like, oh, I'm never going to die. That's so funny. I don't care what anyone says. That is like the funniest line in that whole film for me. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, you're never going to die, buddy. Hell yeah. Okay. Shadowbreed is saying Alex is very smart. Sucks that he got bricked in the sequel. I know. That sucks. I almost want to see him come back. I want a redemption for Alex because that off-screen death is so boring. Like, at least, there's off-screen deaths for other characters that we only hear about and sometimes in the DVD extras of the next film. But at least those were interesting deaths. Like, supposedly Kimberly and Thomas from the sequel die in a wood chipper off-screen. But it's like, at least that's a wood chipper. It's not a falling brick from a building. Boring. Come on. A fucking brick took out Alex Browning after everything he went through. I don't know about that. Bobby, I love you, my friend. Thank you for being here. That is so funny. Bobby's saying, Jake, you're not taking a shotgun to the shoulder. That's absolutely hilarious. We were talking today in a new Saw video. If you guys have not seen that, give it a watch. We went through 10. I randomly drew different traps from literally every single Saw movie, and we talked about if we could survive them. The rack was one that came up, which is probably the worst trap of them all in the entire Saw franchise. If you're a fan of Saw as much as I am, and I talked about, I'm like, I think I could take a shotgun blast to the shoulder. I think I could do it to get somebody out of the rack. I think I would make it. And I think it was Bobby who left me a comment who was like, dude, no, no, you wouldn't. which is so funny. Probably not, but when we were filming that video, I really thought to myself, I'm like, I think I could do it. I think if I leaned down enough, I think I could angle the key and grab it in a certain way. But maybe, you know what, Bobby thinks no. Bobby thinks probably not. And Bobby's probably right in this scenario. That's so funny. Bobby, thank you for being a member. Thanks for watching that video today. I really appreciate that. That was a really fun one. Really fun one to do. Jason Carpenter saying, dude, kind of bummed out Warner Brothers wants a Beetlejuice 3. I love the second one so much, making lightning strike 3 times though. It made a ton of dough, so I can't blame Warner Bros. I mean, I could have told you before Beetlejuice 2 came out that they were probably going to do a third one. It's it is the time and age for IP to come back and do sequels for everything. It's unfortunately one of the only things making money because the studios don't want to put any money into advertising original flicks. They don't want to take the risk, so they're just mining everything from their catalog now, which I think is a shame. We're probably losing out on a bunch of original movies that are just not being given a chance. But Beetlejuice 3, I enjoyed the sequel enough to be like, okay, I'll see where a third one goes. Sure. I actually think that there were elements to the sequel that they didn't get enough time to focus on because there was a lot going on in that second film. I wouldn't mind a Beetlejuice 3 that expanded on more of those things, because my quick review of the sequel is I feel like there was just a lot going on, and like everything was a cool idea, but I wish they had like taken out 2 of those ideas. Like there's really like 4 plots going through that movie, and had they cut out like 2 of them and just focused on like a plot A, a subplot or something like that, I think it would have just been way better. But there's just a lot happening in that movie. Maybe if the next one just focuses on some of the more underdeveloped ideas from Beetlejuice just puts a magnifying glass on those 2 things, I think that could be fun. I'd honestly be into that, to kind of, again, maybe wipe up a little bit of the mess from the sequel. I still liked Beetlejuice. No shade, I definitely did not hate it. But I just don't know if it was, I don't know if I liked it as much as the original, I guess is my point. Still had a very good time with it though. Still a lot of fun. Moonrocks is saying you could. Are you talking about the shotgun blast? I don't, honestly, I don't know I was really cocky in that moment. I think I was like, I think I can do it. No way. No way could I do it. Ghostface is saying maybe Iris made a deal with death where he'll save her now, but when it eventually comes for her family, she's on the chopping block too. Ghostface, I really think you're onto something there. I think that could be the case. Something happened, right? Something happened with Iris, and I think here's my guess. I don't know specifically what she did to get out of that. We're gonna learn about it in the movie, I'm sure. But whatever it was, it's the same thing that happened to William Bloodworth, because that dude knows some shit that we don't know about yet. And I'm sure that whatever he did, he escaped it too. And alongside Iris, these are 2 characters that escaped in the same way. How did they do it? I don't even know if I want to know. I'm kind of in this space with Final Destination where I think it's way more fun if our characters have no idea how to get out of it. But there's a chance, there's a chance that maybe there's a way to escape it. I think that's way more fun, me personally, but I feel like we're probably going to dive into it with this movie. We're going to explain some stuff, but there's always the idea that we can choose for these things to be canon or not, whether we like them or don't like them. And I think that's another thing that's so fun about movies and fiction. So yes, we're going to see. I think we're definitely going to get some answers in this new one, if that's for better or for worse. Oh, and Bradley, you got another good question here. A Saw or Final Destination, which one do you think is more brutal, gory? I definitely think Saw is more brutal. Oh, this is so tough. I think there's like so many positives. There's so many positives of both of these things that make them different enough, right? Like, yes, they do kind of focus on what's a really elaborate and fucked up way to kill somebody. I think that's definitely a focus of both of these series, but they do it in such different ways. And it gives them both such unique weight. For me, I think because there are more Saw movies that are like, there's more, like, let me explain it this way. There's more good Saw movies than there are good Final Destination movies. And that's no fault to Final Destination. There's only 5 movies where there's 10 Saw films, right? But I feel like Saw has been able to explore more things in its universe than Final Destination, which is why I'm leaning towards that franchise. I love the first 3 are phenomenal. 4 and 5, some missteps for sure, but I love 6. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of love 3D as like a guilty pleasure. Jigsaw is, and I like Spiral and Saw X. I really like both of those films a lot. So that to me is that 6? Is that 6 films I really like in this franchise? 4 and 5 feel like filler movies to me. Like, they're not bad. I have a good time with them, but they feel like filler episodes of a long TV show. But I think I like Saw more just because they've been able to do more in their franchise. But Final Destination has the potential to be even more crazy and more interesting. I think I'm really drawn to characters who have a moral dilemma thing going on, or a moral code, I should say, like Jigsaw or Batman. Like, Batman is honestly one of my favorite superheroes because he's so unique. He's not going to kill anybody. That's his whole thing. And I love that about Batman. To me, That's why I'm not crazy about some newer interpretations of Batman, because I think one of the best element to him is that he can't kill people. So to see Batman with a gun shooting people, it's just like, I don't know. That's just a guy in a bat costume at that point, you know? His moral code is what makes him so interesting. I mean, imagine Jigsaw. You know, Jigsaw has the God complex eventually, which turns him into basically a killer at one point. But it's the moral, without the moral code, Jigsaw is just another killer. You know what I mean? He's just the guy who puts people in the traps and whatever at that point. The moral code is what makes Saw so interesting to me, which is why I think I give it the edge over Final Destination. But Final Destination also very unique and very cynical in the same way that Saw is, in the sense that everyone's going to die and there's no way to escape it. You know, the negative attitude of Final Destination really flavors it in such a unique way. Because I think Saw represents the change in the horror genre when we started going more towards like the gore and the more focus on that in the mid-thousands, where Final Destination, I feel like you can still rope it into the Scream meta horror, you know, that time period. But it is a little more focused on the gore and the kills too, which is what makes it so unique. So Final Destination, I think, is a more, this is such a weird thing to say, but I think it's a more like unique franchise, considering where it ends up lying in the subgenre alignment, I guess, of horror. But Saw, I think it's just a little more palatable for me. It's just a little, I love Saw. It's soap opera and gore and crazy traps. It's just so much fun. It's so hard to watch. Oh my God, I have a good time. I have a great time with both of these series. Really tough to say which one I like more, but I'm giving Saw the edge just because they've been able to do more in their series, I think. But man, both are great. Both are great. Have I seen Creep? The found footage movie? Yes, I have not seen the early thousands movie called Creep, but it's been recommended to me many times now, especially over on the Discord. I gotta sit down and watch that one. Scott is saying the first Saw was good. 3, I'm on the fence about. The later ones are filler. Don't get good again until Saw X. Brutal. Saw 6 is probably my favorite Saw film. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what it is about that one, but it just does it for me every single time. I think it's got a really unique story that makes it stand out, and as I've watched the movies over and over again, it's just a weird personal favorite. I think objectively the original Saw is probably the best one, but just like my weird stance on, like, I probably watch Scream 6 the most out of all the Scream films, for instance, these days. Like, objectively, the first one is better, but 6 is just so much fun to me. It is one of my favorite modern slashers from a franchise, I should say. I don't know. That's the one I end up watching the most these days. It's a lot of fun. Lemuel 235 is saying, Jake, remember in the Final Destination, Nick had a premonition of the movie theater collapsing, but he saves everyone. Could another lineage of people who weren't meant to live get like hunted by death? Is basically what you're saying. So kind of like just another thing, like where someone has a premonition. Yeah, I think absolutely. I think that's where, I've definitely been worried about Final Destination for sure. About, the one worry I have about Bloodlines going into it is that they're going to try to connect everything, and it's just like so landlocked to one thing that it's going to be like impossible to make another sequel. But then you got to think, like, what gave the premonition to Iris back in the day? You know, how did that happen? No, I think that the franchise is still saying that premonitions can happen to anybody, but this is a premonition that is kind of being like elongated for whatever reason. Like, it's not affecting the family until now. And I think we were talking about this earlier, but I think Iris, the grandma character who was seen in the trailer, made some sort of deal with death where it won't affect her until later on in life. Maybe it affects her bloodline, but not herself. So she was able to live a full life, but now her family has got to pay for it. That's interesting. It's like a sins of the father kind of story that maybe we're getting into here with Bloodlines. And that's something this franchise is yet to deal with. And that's interesting. That's a reinvention of the formula, but it still hits on the same notes, the things we've come to love about this series. So I really think it's going to work if they approach it that way, as long as they don't make it seem like, something I guess I've been worried about is that the tower disaster affects literally everyone in the series so far, and they're going to try to make it all connect, and it might get convoluted. Then it's like, where do we go from there in the franchise if we try to do more? Because of course we're going to have more Final Destination movies. Come on now. But I do like the idea of what you're talking about. Like, it could be another family, another lineage who gets affected in the next movie. That could be fun. That could be fascinating. I also like the idea of doing another premonition like mid-movie, kind of like The Final Destination. Again, maybe a little convoluted, but fun. It was different. I actually, honestly, the best part of The Final Destination, it's that third act. I love that third act. It's a lot of fun. Very mean-spirited. Valentin Perez, what is up, my friend? How are you? What's up, Val? Saying in Final Destination, is the Grim Reaper the killer? Never showed the Grim Reaper in the previous films. That is an excellent question. We've been getting into theory on Final Destination and like what is really happening here the whole time. And something I brought up recently is that I think there's a difference between the Grim Reaper and death. There is, the enactment of death, but then again, death is coming for us all. And I think that's the distinction that this franchise is about to make. They've made that distinction in certain novels, which we've talked about in various videos, but I think that's something that maybe even this new film could get into, is that like there is a force, a supernatural force that is making these characters die. But then we also have to look at death as its own thing that's going to eventually come for everybody. It's two different entities, right? And it gets a little confusing, gets a little like, I'm scratching my head. What do you mean by that, Jake? But I think the point of it is to say that there is some sort of force. There is some sort of force that's taken people out, but again, just death is just a concept that literally every living thing has to deal with. And to separate those two things, I think it's to say that, like, yes, these are kind of set up like slasher movies, but we don't have a guy in a robe with a scythe cutting people's heads off, right? So it's interesting if you think about it like that, I guess. I made some sort of point in a video recently regarding that. I'm trying to remember what it was, but check out my recent videos, I guess, if you want to hear me talk more about this convoluted franchise that I love so much. Ella's got a skedaddle. Thank you for hanging out with us and talking a little horror, Ella. Appreciate you a ton. Thanks for being here. Adas brother, hello. I remember an article a while back stating Final Destination 6 would be more focused on public service people, police, firefighters, etc. You mentioned in one of your videos there had been many rewrites. What do you know about that? So what I know about that is there was an original script from one of the writers who's still credited. What was her name? Well, it was a female writer, I remember. Hang on. I'll give you the skinny on it, because it was rewritten by Guy Busick. I believe Laurie Evans Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, wrote the first draft of this about that. Here's what I'll say about that. What I remember off the top of my head. There was a scene revolving a revolving door. I use the word revolving too many times. There was a kill sequence that involved a revolving door. And that seems to be brought back into whatever this draft is. So what I do know about that is, no, obviously it's not focused on like what you're talking about there, like public service people or what there was another word that they used for that. Like it's slipping me, I'm sorry. But yeah, like public service people, essentially. Police, firefighters, first responders, that's it. It was a film that focused on that essentially, but I think it was trying to cash in on just a lot of like trendy topics from like post-pandemic. There's a lot of people who were saying like, we got to show love to our first responders. They're, kind of killing it right now. They still have to go to work while all of us are staying at home trying to fight this awful thing that's going on in the world right now. So I think what was really interesting is that they've moved away from that because obviously the movie couldn't go into production immediately. Now it's coming out here in 2025. It's about a family instead, which is much more relatable, less time centric, which I think makes sense. But elements from that original script are obviously still alive and well. That revolving door kill, especially. I don't expect any of the same themes from that original script to still be present here, but some of the same kills and traps and sequences, probably yes. And that's probably one of them. Would be my guess. That's like the one big thing I know about. I have some notes that I probably shouldn't share publicly about what was going on in that original script that I've seen that may still be apparent here. But I won't say anything. I can't say anything about that. It might be spoilery. It might. I actually don't know if it's spoilery or not. But I have seen some things where I'm like, ooh, that could be reinvented for this new movie. I don't want to talk about it though, because I feel like that could be. All I'm going to say is there could be a little twist in this movie that I don't want to really talk about. but it sounds like it could be fun. Bradley is saying, you think they will ever do a saw trap involving an animal like a crocodile, great white shark, or piranhas? Well, they have to do one with piranhas. because of sauce. I mean, come on. Piranha. Oh man, that's so funny. They have to do a piranha trap. I think that's such a must. I love the idea of dropping somebody in a tank of piranhas. That is insane. Like, the more I think about that, the more I'm like, that would be so much fun. Probably expensive, but dude, I mean, tell me that wouldn't be sick. I hope so, Bradley. That would be a lot of fun. I think the only reason they haven't dealt with that is because all the traps relate to Jigsaw in one way or another. I mean, he was an architect, so it makes sense why a lot of the traps are very, very industrial and mechanical, right? It's based off of his expertise. He's not I don't think he's an animal expert, to my knowledge. Honestly, the only animal trap that I can think of off the top of my head is the pig one, right? With the pig carcasses drowning that one dude in Saw 3. Ugh, God, that's an awful trap. But I kind of love the idea of a tank of piranhas. That feels very Dr. Evil to me, but I still love it. I don't even care. It sounds like fun. Oh my God. Or sharks. That could be cool. Madison is saying, check your phone. Oh no. Are you here? I'm so sorry. That's really, Madison has a shark bowl right now. She's out getting drinks with her sister right now. Very nice. Very nice. I want one of those after stream. That sounds delicious. Cruel ZV, what is up, my friend? Saying hello. Sorry for not joining as much. It's all good. As I used to. I've been busy lately with moving and my grandma that's dying of cancer. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. But I thought I should pop in and say hi before I go out to dinner. Cruel ZV, I hope you have a delicious dinner. I'm really sorry to hear about your grandma. So much love to you, my friend. I hope nothing but well wishes and good health for everybody. So enjoy your dinner. I hope you have a very great time. Thank you for popping in. It really does mean a lot to me. Means a lot to hear all these good things. I'm hopefully good things moving into the future here. So much love, my friend. So much love to you. Love to you and your family. Legend Uzi 8BP is saying Final Destination is the only thing that had so much impact on me that I was fucking terrified to travel behind trucks carrying large logs. That is a very good argument for the Saw versus Final Destination argument right there. I have to admit, I don't think Saw has actually made me terrified of any mundane things, right? Like Final Destination has, though. So that's a really good talking point in terms of that argument. I like that a lot. Saw hasn't made me afraid of, like, I'm not afraid of someone with a pig mask coming out of my closet, right? Saw is a little, it's so specific. It's such a specific thing to that franchise. It's like, yeah, that only happens in the Saw universe. But that's why it's fun. That's why I don't even think Saw scares me anymore, because it is so ridiculous. That it's kind of like, I think some people are like, dude, Saw is too much for me. I can't even watch it. To me, I think when you really have a better understanding of that franchise, it really is more palatable, because you have that cheesy factor to it. I mean, dude, the story of Saw is so soap opera, but it works because you have this like bitterness with the mentality of everything going on. I mean, it is so bitter. It is so mean-spirited to its characters. That's why I think the cheesiness works for me, because it's like you have a little bit of both. You have the best of both worlds. This is we're talking about a brutal horror movie that has some extremely funny moments. We have a moment in this film series where a character is pretending to be younger by putting on a hat backwards. This doesn't happen once, but multiple times in the series, and it's so funny. So to me, to have that reprieve in this series, it makes it like, oh, I can watch a bunch of these in a row. It's not that bad at the end of the day, at least for me personally. It's kind of another thing I really like about Saw. But Final Destination, it does have that really unique feature that it makes me terrified of the mundane. You're very right about that, Legend. I didn't even think about that until you brought that up. It's a really good point. They just had 2 Kill Everyone Hates Chris in The Walking Dead. SMH. I dropped off The Walking Dead after Glenn died. When Glenn died, I was out. I was like, dude, you killed the best character. I'm out. I don't know about this. Samantha is saying would really like a movie to deal with the source of the premonitions. We've I talked about that in a video recently, where I actually made a video called Where Do the Premonitions Come From in Final Destination. They talk a bit about that in one of the books, which I think is interesting. So that's Did a whole video on that one if you missed that one. HR is saying, I remember seeing somewhere that the drill from Final Destination 4's intro was Alex's original death for Final Destination 2. Would have been way better than what we got. I agree. I very much so agree. I wish we would have seen him in that sequel. It's great to have like a new version of Clear Rivers in Final Destination Bloodlines, and then just no Alex. He gets hit with a brick. Major bummer. Grumpy Gorehound is saying Saw is extremely specific. You'd have to be worried about pissing off a beleaguered engineer to be afraid of being subject to their traps. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Saw honestly doesn't scare me. The body horror makes me recoil a little bit, right? But Final Destination sticks with me after I watch those. Like if I watch a Final Destination and I'm walking through the house, I'm like ready to karate chop anything flying my way. So yeah, okay. Final Destination definitely has some big points for that one. I gotta admit. Detective Diaries is saying one of my theories revolving around William Bloodworth is that he was potentially one of the survivors during the tower event along with Iris, and he learned how to cheat death ever since with Signs. That could totally be the case. I actually feel like you might be right, if I'm being honest. I think, and here's my other thing about this. This is the last William Bloodworth appearance. If we explained his whole backstory and said that he was a survivor of this tower collapse and then found a way to cheat death alongside Iris, I mean, what a great way to go. What a great way to go out is to explain how to really cheat death, how to really do it. I'd be okay with that personally. I don't want to see somebody else try to play the character. So if you like explained everything about him and put him to rest, I can't really complain about that. I get it. I mean, rest in peace, Tony Todd. It truly is a tragedy to see that he's now gone. I mean, a horror icon in every sense of the word. So if they want to put this character to bed by explaining everything, I'm okay with that personally. This is I don't usually like when horror explains everything. I feel like that just sucks all the terror out of things. You know, the unknown is always going to be scarier than the known. But if this is a way to honor Mr. Todd, I can't complain about that at all. So that to me, that works. That works in my opinion. They killed Carl for fuck's sake. Everyone in that show still goated, but damn. Yeah, there's a lot of great characters on Walking Dead still. I agree. But Abraham, like at the time, what was that, like season 5, season 6? Abraham and Glenn were like my favorite characters. And I had read the comics. I knew it was coming. I'm like, they got to change it up, right? I mean, like those are the best characters. And then they still did it. And I'm just like, dude, like, what is this show going to become now? And I hear it sucks after that. It comes back a little bit, I guess, in like season 8 or season 9. If I'm not mistaken, I never watched it. It's just what I've heard. But man, I don't know. Totally lost me. I was like, you can't just kill all your good characters. You can't just keep doing that. And Walking Dead was doing that for a while. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me personally. Jake, so Mark Evans in Scream 7, is he a cop or an animal control officer? He looks pretty official in the pics we've seen. No, so that is, I know what you're talking about. So the picture that's been going around, I've even used it myself, is from a show that Joel McHale was on called Animal Control. So that's not actually a picture of him in Scream 7. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been using that, though, because I feel like it's probably what Mark Evans is going to look like in this. He's probably still a police officer. Don't forget, I know a lot of people want to argue this in the Scream fandom for some reason, but there is undeniable evidence that this was supposed to be the character of from Scream 3, whose name, Patrick Dempsey's character, Mark something. Mark Kincaid. I couldn't think of the name. It's definitely supposed to be Mark Kincaid. So if Joel McHale's a cop in this, that would make a lot of sense in my opinion. Because they're not going to just overhaul the whole character just because they couldn't get Patrick Dempsey to be in the film, right? So it's probably still going to be a cop, and we're probably going to see pictures of him in the cop outfit and all that, right? So. But no, those pictures are from that Joel McHale show, which I'm not gonna lie, I saw somebody else use that. Some other content creator post pictures of that and be like, what do you think of Mark Evans in Scream 7? Someone posted that on Twitter, and I'm like, ooh, that's a good picture. I should use that for videos, like as a good like frame or reference, whatever. I like that. Jake, Final Destination with a shark cage. Oh my God, that's crazy. Like you're in how do you mess that up? How do you go in the water and oh man, a shark comes out of nowhere and rips you in half? That could be fun. There are a ton of a ton of kills in the Final Destination books that I would love to see come to the screen one day. There's a boat explosion too. Speaking of water related deaths, that's insane in the novels. So to do something like that would be a lot of fun. I would love to see just a random shark attack scene in those films too. That would be so cool. And yeah, Moonrocks is saying this is so Dr. Evil. Well, as long as they don't have, laser beams coming from out of their heads, right? As long as they don't have that, then we're good. But the moment that we have sharks with lasers coming out the tops of their heads, that's get the pinky up, right? Bradley really likes that idea too. Hell yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm gonna sign off for the night, but I really do appreciate everybody who sent in super chats. Scott also with the memberships. Thank you guys a ton. Thanks for supporting the page. Means a lot. The rest of the month is Final Destination videos. I know we kind of took a step back on it this week. I had some other things I wanted to get into. I got I might have some new reviews coming for that Until Dawn movie. I do want to talk about that, but big thing to look forward to for the rest of April is we have some reviews for all 5 of the Final Destination films. These will come out this month. I'm making it happen. It's going to be my focus for the rest of April. So check those out. Give them a watch. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking horror. Have a safe weekend, everybody. And as always,